All right, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast. And today it is a 1 vs 1 between Nandamoni and ANZ Faust. Faust being the red 4 player, and Nandamoni as the blue player. But both of these players are not using any particular red 4 or blue 4 deck. No NATO, nothing like that. They are using a no nation deck, so you can basically put anything you want in it, except for some of the major units. And we're going to go ahead and speed this on up. And just for the record, ANZ Faust is the #1 ranked player on the leaderboards in Wargame Red Dragon, and Nandamoni is number 4. So sort of a clash of the titans, 1 vs 1 here. So it should be very, very good. And we will see how this goes. Now, both players starting out, and some cheeky recon on all fronts. And pretty much the same over here as well. We have some Shiki Recon as the Shiki Recons are super, super good. And we also have some Bradley CFVs, which are also very good, launching missiles at 2,625 meters, which will do the job quite nice. Now, ANZ Faust automatically starts off with a +2 and immediately lost it there as he took Echo. And now going to be pushing up through this line here. And so it's going to be on 2 fronts. And we'll see who can dominate the middle. So by both getting their first frontal territories here, Echo and Alpha, and Charlie and Hotel respectively, neither side's really going to win. So somebody has to take over Golf, and somebody has to take over Bravo. And now, much larger force here for Nandamoni, moving to the left side and going to crush ANZ Faust here on the left side. Does have a Leopard here and some troops that need dropping off, but that is a lot of Shikis over there. But meanwhile, ANZ Faust has much more on the right side. And I would say that there's a bit more resources on the right side as well. We have Bravo and Alpha here that can be taken and stopped from getting a CV in there. Lots of Gewehr men being dropped out, and ANZ Faust choosing to use Jaegers, whereas Nandamoni is choosing to use Gewehr men, which are pretty similar. And now that Leopard is still alive, and it looks like it took out a number of these Shikis, and it's a rather cheap Leopard, but it does get the job done. And we have 20 Gewehr men here versus 30 Jaegers, 20 Fusiliers also on the way here. We have some Erics in there as well. Peace Pheasant going to be flying on by there. He takes out a few things. And the K1 there almost destroyed completely. And now the PV group firing rockets and trying to stop these XAs here, and we'll do that successfully. Shiki also firing away from the forest line here at the Gewehr men. Tons of Gewehr men inside this line here, and just waiting to get bombed. Fusiliers and the Jaegers still pushing forward on the Gewehr men. Once the Gewehr men are gone, there's really going to be nothing left in this wood line. So Bravo will be easily taken by Faust. Also, Alpha does not have a CV in it as well. And these Fusiliers and Jaegers could push up into Alpha and stop any CV from being placed in there. So not looking too good for Nandamoni right now, but it is early in the game. And now those Shikis going after the troops here. And now the left side is almost entirely lost by Faust. He does have the CV all the way back here, but he doesn't really have too much protecting it. He has this Leopard here, which should be enough for these Shikis. But really, that's just about it, and a good solid push of armor could push him right out of Hotel there. So it looks like he's starting to bring some things over there now. It looks like even more Shikis. It seems like the high-end players really love these Shikis. They are super good, though. And as you can see, just piling on the Shikis. All the Shiki Recons, they're pretty good because they have a very far range. 1,750 meters for ground, 1,500, nearly 1,600 for helicopters. Also does 2 AP power. So that means they can penetrate armored vehicles pretty well in terms of APCs like troop carriers. And it does have 1 HE power, which pretty much everything has 1 HE power. So it takes out just about everything, really. Except anything, I suppose, remotely armored. But in terms of these, like XAs and random troop carriers like M113s, are pretty much instantly destroyed by Shikis. Peace Pheasant flying over again and gonna try and take some things out. I don't think I got anything there. And we have the Sam there launching infrared, but did not take it out. Fusiliers have moved over towards the left side here. Now FVs, just troop carriers, trying to stop these Gewehrmen, 7 Gewehrmen from getting into the wood line, and now there's down to 6-5, and I don't think they're going to make it here. They're going to try and launch the Law, but I don't think they're going to get stop it, as there's 2 of these and only 3 left of them, so they're not going to really make it into the wood line just yet. Bradley, way too close to the edge of the line there, gets taken out by that Cyclus missile. And now ANZ Faust pushing very far up into Alpha there. And Shiki's firing from all angles. Shiki's all over the place here. And these Jaegers not going to last too long. Fusiliers over here as well, trying to stop the Erics. And we also have Bisons right on the other side here too. So these troops will not last long. It's going to need some more reinforcements there. And Alpha really needs to be taken here by Nandamoni. Could stick a CV way back there and be just fine for now. So +1 advantage for Faust right now, 51-0. So far, Nandamoni really hasn't made too many CVs. He's been really focusing on just plain making troops to stop Faust from pushing him forward. Or rather, from pushing him backward. Peace Pheasant now coming across the land here and going to get an STRF, and not a very exceptional prize, but it was didn't lose the Peace Pheasant, and we'll live another day to fire more electro-optical missiles at something else at another time. Additional troops now, more than likely Gewehrmen, trying to push into the town line here, either the town line here and fight the Jaegers, or push into this slight wood line here and try and make it down to those Jaegers. Additional Bisons moving in here, and this troop block here now getting destroyed by Jaegers, being pushed in by quite a bit of them, 18, 6 more behind that. Shikis have spotted the XAs moving across the way here. And now spotted the Erics behind it, and that was priority, and lost out to those Cyclus missiles. Now Gewehrmen not really trying to push forward in here, but lost miserably, if you will. Gewehrmen, 20 of them going to fight from across the way there, and so that fight will go on for quite a while. Meanwhile, Nandamoni has pushed and stayed into the Etcha Hotel here, but has not brought a CV to deny this. Hasn't brought a CV to Alpha either to take that. So, oddly enough, losing the game just because he hasn't made any CVs. And a jet taken out there by that Sam. A pretty good hit. And since it was 2 squads, 2 missiles at once there, took it out. 4 Bisons moving in to the wood line here. There are 20 Fusiliers that will stop one of them. Nope, it's gonna take a V line over this way, and there's just 11 Jaegers there, so they should be able to handle that. And 1 Bison against 2 Jaegers here, and the FV. And I still don't see any CVs coming from Nandamoni, and the things that are coming in from Faust right now. We have a Leopard moving on in, and it's one of the cheaper Leopards, these 60 cost Leopards, and we have additional Jaegers moving in, and quite a bit too, 4 in each of these, well, 4 in this one and 2 in this one. Now the Fusiliers are pushing forward here, and we'll take out this Bison when they get up here, because neither of these two are really doing anything to each other, just firing regular old rounds at each other. And now lots of Jaegers moving up, 3 here, 4 squads here, and 2 squads here, all moving up. So huge amounts of forces moving up, and we also have 3 squads here, missing, by the looks of it, 4 men out of there. Still a +1 advantage for Faust, 103 points to 0 points, and these Jaegers doing a really good job of just pushing forward here. Now 4 Bisons, 2 Bisons automatically taken out there, and 4 Erics behind that. Erics not particularly good fighters close up, mostly for their Cyclus missiles. They can do the job, I suppose, but the Jaegers probably going to wipe them clean there, and additional Jaegers being pushed in to the force line now, and 4 squads coming around the side here. We have 3 squads here that have not been unloaded in this small town. Looks like he's going to push him up the way, but he's got to watch out the Gewehrmen here. There are 3 of them, and they can, 2 squads actually, so they could fire 2 of those missiles at once. So he's going to get inside there, and here they go winding up. Took out 1 of those, and damaged actually to both of them, and took out 6 Jaegers from both of those APCs there. But now surrounding the Gewehrmen, and that will be in the hands of Faust. And Faust holding this area pretty strong. Either side really deciding to push in at all there. The fight mostly over here. As mentioned earlier, there's a bit it's a bit easier. You can get through the wood line here, and the road just goes straight up through Bravo and Alpha, making it pretty easy to attack. And now even more Gewehrmen by the looks of it moving on in. And dropping off 20 Erics here in the wood line. And going to take 4 of his APCs and just push it into the wood line here and see what's up in here. Now a +2 advantage for Faust. It looks like he put a CV here in Bravo finally. Somebody finally brought in another CV. But either way, he didn't really need to because he was currently winning. But now he's currently winning twice as fast at +2 points. Erics wipe out those 4 APCs pretty easily. They were just mostly just scout and seeing if he can get himself some damage in with those APCs there. He says it's flying overhead and launching, takes out that Leopard, so a fair prize there for that Peace Pheasant. But again, it was a fairly cheap version of the Leopard, only 60 cost, so another one can be brought in pretty easily, and now pouring in even more troops. Now 40 Gewehrmen trying to push in here. 40 Gewehrmen versus 46, 49, about 50 Jaegers here. So fairly even odds, but the Erics are there as well. And now there is a mortar barrage coming in and blasting right on these Jaegers, taking a few out at a time there. Now even more Jaegers pushing forward. Gewehrmen trying to push into the wood line. They don't have any cover, caught out in the open, taking a little bit too much damage. So the Jaegers have the bonus of being inside the woods here. And additional Gewehrmen now pouring in. Once again, huge push over here. Split up all those Gewehrmen by the looks of it, and now trying to push them all forward and trying to get them in that line, but there's just so much fire. This is just all red here from bullets going back and forth from these Jaegers and Gewehrmen. Huge infantry battle going on. But I don't think these Gewehrmen are really going to make it. They're going to have to push in this open territory momentarily. But the mortars from Nandamona here are blasting away at these Jaegers. They take out 1 or 2 at a time. Now a Harrier coming on overhead, and it is almost certainly going to launch here by the looks of it. And no, going to go over this way. There goes launches at those XAs and takes out a couple of them, but loses a Harrier in the process, so that definitely wasn't worth it at all. And now tons of Gewehrmen now being pushed in to the line here between Alpha and Bravo. About 50 Gewehrmen here pushing in, and only really 14 Jaegers to hold out. Now the Gewehrmen have pushed in to the town, but again, only a couple left. Didn't quite make it into the town. Peace Pheasant flying overhead again and seeing if it can find something to kill. And I'm not sure if there's anything that's really out in the open for it. And there's really no anti-air at all either, so it's just flying around, having a good time. And there goes spots those the Shikis. Takes out 1 Shiki there, and takes off successfully. So we'll live again for another day. And now even more Gewehrmen pouring in, and those Gewehrmen, I believe, were sent here, and additional Shikis there as well, and they made Panzerbill. Still really trying to push into this town line. Unable to put his CV here. Still could put a CV in the back here and just defend it aggressively with troops. And at least take the score down to only a +1 for Faust. And could easily put a CV here as well. either in the line or troop CV in the town here, and then it would zero it out. Looks like that Peace Pheasant was evac'd out of there. It looked like it was moving in for the kill, but it doesn't look like there's really much for it to kill there. Shiki's taken out there by another Shiki. And now so many Gewehrmen again moving into the line here. Going to try and take this town once again. And now down to 21 Jaegers up front. So this town here could definitely use some reinforcing. They move the Jaegers over this way to prevent so much damage from those mortars as they were firing in that area there. And now fired on the Erics with those mortars. And these Erics won't last much longer here. Just one man left in that squad. Now the XAs, the APCs that dropped off the Gewehrmen are moving across the way here. And really just sort of wasting the missiles of the Erics and the PV. Now they no longer have any Cyclos missiles, so they can't use those against anything particularly useful now. And they may get in a kill or two as well. That's sort of one of the uses of your APCs once you drop off your troops, is just really send them at some ATGMs, and they'll end up wasting their missiles on your APCs, and sometimes you take out a few troops as well if you have nothing else to do with them. Now bringing up a supply vehicle here and gonna resupply the Cyclos missiles from the PV and the Erics here, and he also had another one here too, but already ran out of supply. Battle of the Shikis about to occur here. 2 Shikis to 1 though, unfortunately. And the Shikis, 2 Shikis win against 1 Shiki. AH-1J here doing a little bit of work, blasting out some of those rockets there on those Shikis, but didn't really take too much out. Didn't quite last long enough. We have additional 4 squad of Jaegers moving into the wood line here, dropping them off now. And going to be pushing them in, split up all of those troops there. And going to push them in individually. Now those A1Gs are firing at the Gewehrmen, taking them out quite quickly here. 4 A1Gs all firing at the same time, taking out that troop squad pretty fast. Now the Erics under fire from the A1Gs and won't last much longer. Got to move them back into the woods here. They're firing Cyclos missiles, but again, not really too priority of a target, these A1Gs. So now they're all out, and only 1 man left in that squad. Gewehrmen have finally taken over this town here. 10 Gewehrmen trying to move into this one. Going to try and occupy the same block as that Erics, and does so, takes it out immediately. Now the Gewehrmen just need to push in even more, as all these troops here are really just anti-air and ATGM troops, and 7 Gewehrmen should be able to take care of it, but the A1Gs here firing on them, and now A1Gs being fired at from another angle, so they'll have to deal with that. Indeed, moving that PV group and the SAM out of there, put some Fusiliers in the place of those ATGMs and anti-air. And the Fusiliers will definitely defeat the Gewehrmen. He's trying to get away from the same block so they can use that machine gun. Four Shikis at once firing away at those Fusiliers. Took out of a few of them pretty quick there. And now 26 Gewehrmen pushing in to these Jaegers here, about 17, and we have 15 over here. So the battle continues to rage on in Alpha. now a CV has finally been placed by Nandamoni, so now just a +1 advantage for Faust, but still has 371 points. And these Jaegers here don't look like they're going to last much longer. They're standing in fire. And KAFV's moving on in now. And bringing in even more Jaegers here. 3 squads and 20 Fusiliers down here. Again, pretty much a stalemate on the left side of the map. Peace Pheasant now moving across and see if it can find itself a target. And it does. And takes out one of those APCs there. No troops survive out of it. XA is now pushing out into open territory. The Jaegers are caught out in open territory here, so they're going to take a little bit of damage. Now it's going to bring those back into the wood line, taking shots from all over the place there. Those mortars now moving forward here. It looks like he actually target moved these mortars, and when you don't have any shells in your mortar or artillery, if you go to actually bombard something, it will send those artillery there to use the machine gun on the artillery, because that is all they have left. So that was the mistake there. They had no rounds left, and he decided to attack probably these Fusiliers here or something, and that caused them to move forward because they didn't have any rounds, so they were going to use their machine gun instead. So that is a mistake there. Lost 3 mortars. Jaegers under fire here. XA's moving in on him. 4 XAs and 40 Gewehrmen. It looks like Nandamoni finally taking Alpha here and control of this top end of the wood block here. But it may be a little bit too late. Still 402 to 0. And additional Jaegers now being brought in, and so many Jaegers. His deck must just consist entirely of insane amounts of Jaegers. Also has some Fusiliers as well, but just so many Jaegers. And actually dropping off some different troops this time around, and so that's a shock. And so many M8 Panzerbills here firing away into the town. We have to push the troops back as far as they can, but there's really nowhere to go now. And there's just so many Panzerbills and Shikis. So much damage going into this town here. These Fusiliers aren't going to last more any longer here. And now it's all about this group here. And they are all out of Seklos missiles, so can't really do too much there. Su-85s here, 26 of them versus 36 Gewehrmen. And both sides doing fairly well here, lowering the numbers once in a while. 2 Leopards now moving up as well. And so many M8 Panzerbills, so much recon here to deal with the troops that are inside that town. Now not really all that useful. And the Leopards can't come up through here. They have to either go around this way or go around this way. Troops however, can walk up there, but tanks and vehicles cannot. They have to move these Leopards up this way. And now the Leopards will be able to take out these M8 Panzerbills. At least they'll last a little while. And probably going to take out the majority, if not all, of these Panzerbills. And now just going to back them up a little bit and save them for another day. And the M8 Panzerbills only have a 37mm gun, and they do 2 AP power, which really isn't enough for these Leopards. The Leopards can pretty much take them all. And looks like a Shiki here has engaged some recon troops that were all the way around here. Perhaps they were trying to go around the back end, but didn't work so good. And now CV has been placed there in Gulf, but it is neutralized by Faust CV, so it still doesn't provide Nandamoni with that +1 that he needs to zero this game out. Faust spotted the CV somehow, and now knows that that's there. He's going to try and either bomb it or go after that in some way. He's just making that marker to remind himself where that CV exactly is. Now here come the Leopards going to come around and possibly come up the road here and defend these Fusiliers. Only one left, and they're all gone there. But now the M8 Panzerbild going to get wrecked here by the Leopards. And there that goes. The Shiki should be next. No, going to be firing at the Gewehrmen. And then the Shiki. And it looks like a small push is coming here towards Hotel. But I'm not sure if it's going to work so good. He does have a Shiki here, Fusiliers, and the Sam. But there are 4 M8 Panzerbilds, but he should be able to bring up some things that he needs before he loses this sector. Now it's 451 out of 500 to 0, so still nothing for Nandamonai. And F100 moving across the way and does not attack anything there. And Fusiliers here losing the fight with those M8 Panzerbilds. Looks like they got 3 of them, but I don't know if they're going to get the last one. It's sort of a RNG right now. Can they fire in time? And apparently not. However, we do have a Shiki coming up and additional troops coming to that region. So it should stay in the hands of Faust, not a problem. Gewehrmen and Eric's going at it. The Eric's definitely going to lose that fight there. But did stun those Gewehrmen. And so, actually, a pretty even fight there. Getting stunned over and over by those Cyclist missiles. Shiki now moving on in, trying to take out those troop carriers there. It does take out one of them. And these Leopards here could move up and do some damage, but it's just keeping them there for safety right now. 469 out of 500, and soon the victory for Faust, more than likely here. And we have a Bradley coming on in, and some troops moving into this region here. It is neutralized still by those 2 CVs. And we did have a CV troop here that he was going to try and neutralize Bravo with, but it was a little bit too late, and now the Leopard's pushing forward as they're trying to get that CV troop out of there now. Here is firing away at those Gewehrmen, doing huge damage to him, and the Bradley's now coming around. And should be able to finish it off here shortly, and there it goes, but still won't be able to take Hotel. Splitting up those Erics now against the AH-1J there, and the FSK. And lasts a little while because of it, but only 1 man left. Black Panzer takes out that helicopter there. And even more M8 Panzerbilds now being brought into this area here a little bit too late. And an additional final troop push here from Faust, and a CEV along for the ride, and a couple recon as well. And just 2 points left for Faust that needed here. So that should just about do it. And so a fairly uneven game this time around. And both of them were NATO nations, but they did not have any specific deck. They were using just like a no nation deck where you can use just about whatever you want, except for the prototype units and some of the higher end units. Like you can't use the M1A2. You couldn't use like the Challenger 2, that sort of thing. But a fairly good game here and solid play from Faust. And I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.